Hello and welcome back to Around the Block. Hope you're all doing well today, and welcome back to the final episode of our second full season with Martin. And what a season it has turned out to be. We've qualified for the Europa Conference League next season already by winning the Cup. As it stands right now, with one game to go this season, we're second in the table. Anything other than a loss today will provide us with second place in the table as well. So we've had a phenomenal season. Very quickly, since you were last here for that Cup final victory we had against Galika last episode, we've played 3 games and we've won 2 of them and lost 1 of them. The first one was a huge, another 3-1 win over Slovan Bratislava. Barai, Plievka and Brigant with the goals in that game, which is fantastic. We then had a terrible 3-0 loss to my club. I'm not entirely sure what happened in that game. We just didn't turn up. And, well, actually, that's a lie. That is a big lie. We did turn up in this game. 23 shots we had in this game, but clearly those shots just weren't of any decent quality as we succumbed 3-0 to my club. We did have 3 of our first choice back line suspended, actually, so that does make a difference. Duncan, Durek and Nudisic had to play that game because we had, I think it was... I can't remember who was suspended. And to be fair, Frank was playing rather than Tim because Tim was injured actually as well. So our entire back line was completely different in that game. But to still have 23 shots and not score, that was probably quite disappointing. Anyway, lost that game. We can brush over that one. We did win last time out 2-1 against Trenton with Maxim and Thomas Brigant getting the goals. So as previously mentioned, we are sitting second in the table on 50 points. My club had a bit of a resurgence. They're up to 48 points in third. Dunstrada in fourth on 48. And Zelina have really dropped down to the point where they're going to finish 5th or below this season, and they're actually on less points than Senica, and I'm very confused about all of this. I just don't quite understand how this league table is working out, because when the league split in half, okay, it was the top 5 and Trenton. They were the top 6 teams, okay. Trenton have lost lots of games. They've dropped down quite a few points. They've dropped to 9th in the table, which I didn't think was possible because they were in the top half. When this split, I thought this didn't change. I thought you had like essentially 2 separate tables, but apparently not, because Trenton have dropped all the way down, whereas Narva have risen up the places a little bit, but they're on 43 points and Senica on 46 points, yet Senica in 7th and Savannah in 6th, but even though they were both in the relegation group, I'm so confused as to what's happened in this league table, but there must be some sort of plausible explanation for it somehow, but I've not worked it out yet. But we could be in a situation where both Dunstrada and Michael have lose today, Senica win, and they would technically be the 3rd best team because they've got 49 points. I don't quite understand it, if I'm honest with you, but it's how it's worked out. All I know is we've had a terrific season. We've got one final game against Dunstrada, then we're finished and we can start to talk about next season and what's happening going forwards. So this is the lineup for the final game of the season. Lesnovsky stays in goal as he's been brilliant all season. Frank, because Tim is still injured, starting at left back with Filipak, Maxim and Gunnarsson in that back line. Sina is joined by Nagy, who is back in that centre of midfield. He's just come back from injury towards the end of the season, so good to see him playing a few final games. Plievka on the left, Barai in the middle, Brigant on the right and Barbosa up front. That's the lineup, one final game. Let's get a win or a draw to finish second in the table, and that would be perfect. Right then, kickoff is upon us here today, away to Dunstrada, so they could be the favourites of this one. We've had quite a contentious time against Dunstrada this season. They've been a really good side. We've got the better of them in some instances. They've got the better of us, and we're now pretty level pegging towards the end of the season. If they win today, they go ahead of us in the table, which is what we don't want. So a draw or a win is absolutely fine by us. First highlight of the game, though, 20 minutes into it, is going towards Dunstrada as the ball into the area is cleared off the line, I think, by Gunnarsson or Plievka, something like that, as the corner came through, clear off the line. Instead, we've got a chance to counter-attack. If Barbosa can get past his man, which he has done, and wins a penalty for us, you love to see it. We have just cleared it off the line at the back there. Literally off the line. And now Sina has got a chance to score a penalty, which he does to make it 1-0. What a way to get the first goal of the game. Peter Sina is 6th of the season on penalty duties, most of them, but fantastic stuff for him. Thanks, lad. Okay, well, that's pretty good, but there is a highlight straight from kickoff once again, which isn't great. I suppose Dunstrada wanted to get straight back into there and put things back on level terms. They'll feel robbed by not scoring when they had the chance to, clearing it off the line and then losing a penalty, conceding a penalty. Not great for them either, but they are playing it forward quite nice, a bit of confidence. 17 into number 9, who has somehow put that in the back of the net. Instant reply from Dunstrada. We should have done better than that defensively. I don't know how he's managed to score from that angle. That's poor goalkeeping as well. Not brilliant, that one. So as quickly as we took the lead, we have now lost the lead, which isn't great, but potentially a chance to claim it back as Frank on the ball into Plievka. He can put the ball back to Ferenc. Ferenc, can we get it into the middle or something like that? He gets it across to Sina, down to Barai, back to Sina. Sina across to Gunnarsson in plenty of space. Back to Brigant, back to Gunnarsson. Gunnarsson shoots, putting it just wide. Nice moves from us to keep it in and around the area to get it in there, but The shot just not being good enough in the end. It's also worth mentioning as well, actually, I forgot to mention it earlier, we've beaten Slovan Bratislava once in the league and once in the cup. So Slovan Bratislava have only lost 3 times this season domestically, only 3 times, and we've beaten them twice, which I think is pretty impressive looking at that. I think it really shows how much character and determination this team have got. It may not have the all-out ability, but as a unit, we've worked together so well this season. I've been so pleased and surprised as well at how well we've done, but we have been brilliant. As coming forward once again, Dunstrader looking to get a ball into the back of a net. They get the ball in the middle, but it's just over the bar from their goal scorer earlier on. Okay, half time, we are drawing 1-1. My club are losing 4-1 to Slovan Bratislava, so we don't have to worry about that one. As long as we don't lose to Dunstrader, second in the table is going to be ours, and that's pretty impressive, I think, considering that Dunstrader won the title not last season but the season before that. So they are a very good side. And yet we are, well, I say showing them up a little bit. We're ahead of them by 2 points in the league table. It's not a huge amount, really, is it? But it's still ahead of them in the table, which I think is pretty impressive for a team of our size. But Dunstrader coming forward, looking to grab that goal that they need, and they've got that goal. Eric Ramirez once again. Dunstrader up to second, then we're down to third. But as it stands right now, we'll finish third, and that's still a massive achievement if we do end up finishing third in the table. As the goal they scored, it's rather frustrating we managed to concede that. 2 bad goals to concede, I reckon. Okay, well, we've got nothing to lose, really, so let's go attacking. Let's really try and push this as a free kick comes in for Dunstrader, which we managed to clear, but only as far as Dunstrader players. Although we've got it cleared once again, and Plevka looking to bring it out on the counter-attack into Barbosa. Barbosa into the area, shoots. Oh, he just drags it wide. He's been so unlucky there. Great opportunity for us. As Dunstrader have got 10,000 people turning up for this game. Oh, imagine if we got 10,000 people a game. That would be mental. We're going to take Barbosa off because he's not played well. He's had a terrible end to the season, really. Plevka's not played well, so Patrick Blaut will come on for him. Probably going to play his last game for the club as well. I doubt he'll be sticking around much longer. And Filipak not playing well, so Derek can come on for him at centre-back. Filipak just signed a new contract on... He's being paid a bit more. He's the only player that wanted a wage rise, actually. Every other player we've got renewed for next season that was running out this season have taken wage cuts apart from him. But he was on like £200 to start off with. So he's up to £350, £400 now. So he's had like a £200 wage rise. But we've saved more than that by cutting down on other players' contracts. In the end, it's not quite going to be enough, I don't think, as they've got a free kick at the very end of the game. If we can counter-attack off this would be good, but I've got a feeling they're going to score this one, which they have done. Dunstrader 3, Martin 1. That's how it finishes as we drop down to third in the table. I mean, we can't be too upset with that. We cannot be too upset with that at all, really, because, or quite frankly, we are overachieving in the league. There's no way we should really be up in the top half of the table, but we've managed to come home in third position, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Passionately, despite the result. I clicked the wrong thing. I meant to say despite the result, I'm very pleased with your performance out there, but instead I clicked on nothing specific to mention right now. Okay. Doesn't matter too much because we finished third in the table. We picked up some prize money for that. We've got Europa League football next season as well, or Europa Conference League football. £43,000 in the bank as well, which takes us still only £700,000 in the red. We had that last time after we won the cup, and yet all of a sudden it's not great, that. Thing is, I don't even think the European money that we get for the Europa Conference League is going to help us out massively here, which is an issue. But there are things we need to talk about which might be able to help us out a little bit as we start to prepare for next season. So now the season is over. Obviously, contracts are coming to be expired for certain players. And I think every player that's currently at the end of their contract, 2 players out on loan. Danko had to go back to his parent club like a couple of games ago. He got injured for 3 or 4 months. He's gone back. But we're going to be saving a fair bit of money on these players. Now, you'll notice right at the top, Eric Barai. Currently, his contract expires in a couple months or a month or so, and he's not got a new deal on the table just yet. The issue with that is he isn't interested in negotiating. He doesn't want to sign a new contract, Eric Barai. One point, he did want to sign a new contract, but he wanted like 1.5k per week, and I wasn't prepared to pay that for him. So, unfortunately, I do think we're going to lose him on a free transfer, which is terrible. So we're going to offer him to clubs and just see if anyone wants to buy him very quickly for £100,000. Probably won't work, but we're going to lose him. But we are going to save a lot of money via that and hopefully bring in some new players that are going to be a bit more cost effective, perhaps. So end of season team awards. Thomas Brigant is apparently the fans player of the season. Plevka is second and Andrei Shittigel is third. You love to see that. Good to see him in the fans player of the season awards. which is great to see. Apparently, Thomas Lesnowski was the team's signing of the season, which is great to see. And Maxim, the young guy we got in on loan over January, is young player of the season. I'd like to get him back. He's been very good, but I think we might be able to do a bit better than him next season. The board have come back with some expectations for next season. They want us to fight bravely against relegation, which I think we should be able to do, and to reach the second qualifying round of the Europa Conference League, which we already have done because that's the round we enter. So I think we've pretty much passed these ones already. I don't think we're getting relegated, and I don't think we'll be doing worse than the second qualifying round, given that's the round that we enter into the Europa Conference League. Work with the wage budget, I can definitely do that. And they want us still to sign players to sell for a profit, which is something we need to talk about in a few moments' time. They've added on a make the most of set pieces. We had possession football and high-tempo football before, but now this make the most of set pieces has been added there. I'm not entirely sure how we do that, but that's something we have to try and work with. So we'll accept that current vision, but that might change a little bit. End of season team meeting then. What do we say here? I think we say we'll come back next season and avoid relegation. I'm very pleased we're able to avoid relegation. I might just say we are good enough to avoid relegation next season. It might be via the relegation playoffs, but that's what we're looking towards. There's nothing that's more positive than that. All of it seems to be geared towards relegation, so I'll say that. And now they're all saying that seems a bit optimistic, even though you guys just finished third in the league and won the cup convincingly. And now they reckon that we can't avoid relegation. I disagree with that view, but... And now apparently I'm unsettling the players. Well, that's upset me. Yeah, you've literally done it phenomenally well this season. Now all of a sudden you're back to thinking you're going to get relegated. We need to change some of the backroom staff and some of the players, I reckon. Either way, no clubs want to buy Barai for 100k. Understandable. How about 20k? That's a bit more reasonable at this stage. With only a month left on his contract. Surely someone will bid for him now. Apparently not, which seems a little bit strange. Well, not strange. They can get him for free in a month's time, so why would they pay right now? I was begging, and it's not worked out. Anyway, sort of back onto this players squad. Next season, we need to save money massively save money, because obviously right now we are minus £721,000 right now. Projection-wise, it's going to get to, by the end of the 2023-24 season, which is this season, 1.7 million. I don't think it's going to get that bad. I'll be very worried if it does, but as you can see, the projections aren't great. What this means is we have to save money on player wages, okay? Now, this season we've spent a bit more than we did last season, and obviously that's worked out quite nicely for us. We finished third in the table, but we do need to reduce that massively to the point where we do need to get rid of some players on the bigger wages. We're going to let go of... Well, all these players. Hang on, let me go to the wage expired bit. We're going to get rid of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players here permanently. Try and save some money there. And only bring in, like, maybe players in on loan. We've got to really be careful with how much money we're spending. Next season, we're not going to have a big squad. 22 players, 25 players at most, something like that. And hopefully quite a few of those in on loan and things like that. And promote some youth players. Who's valued the most at the club? Well, apparently Robert Polevka is 160k, Thomas Brigant 150k, Nagy in the centre midfield 120k. If bids come in of those kind of money, that kind of money, they've got to go. That's the thing, they've got to go, because we've got to look after the financial stability of the club, and also we need to get a coaching course. That's the only reason I'm so concerned about money, really. But these top 3 players, and yes, they've been brilliant for us, top 3 players at the club on quite modest high contracts for us, but they're not at the levels of Tim or Barbosa apparently. So maybe Tim and Barbosa, maybe we could try and sell those guys instead to try and make some more money. But we'll offer Tim and Barbosa out first to try and save the money because they're on the most per week. But if we can sell them for 150, 200k, they've got to go, really, haven't they? And that's what's going to be really tough. That's what's going to be really, really tough to work through this summer. In a bit more good news though, there is a player that I do want to promote from the under-19 squad, and it's a player that has been here the entire time that I've been here, but never noticed that he's got 5-star potential. This is Patrick Luptak. He's a right back with 5-star potential, already got 2-star current ability, and I had no idea he even existed. I think he predates me being at the club I think. Otherwise I would have noticed him, but he does predate me a bit, I think. And he looks like a great player for the future, to be fair. Like, he could be a great backup next season, only on £35 per week as well. So he is going to get promoted to the first team, and he'll be the backup to Gunnarsson next season. And I only really want 2 players in each position to try and save money. So they're the only 2 right backs we'll have next season, Gunnarsson and this guy. And that's how we're going to have to go. We have to be really frivolous, really try and save a lot of money over summer, because we need to save this club, because at the moment we're just in a downward spiral and it's not great for us financially whatsoever. So there will be a lot of changes over summer. There will be a lot of changes, and there will be different players in the squad and some being sold. I'm going to have to try and sort it all out. Personally, the gut feeling I have is next season with the last one we have at Martin. Because I think it's going to be really difficult to replicate what we've done in the league this season and in the Cup. We're not going to get out the qualifying stages of the Europa Conference League, I don't think. And if we look at my profile as a manager, 2 stars of reputation. 2 stars of reputation now. That's quite a bit. I've got the Slovak FA Cup under my belt. I've got the Belarusian First League under my belt. 2-star reputation now. If we have a quick look at the staff's, job security, there's lots of clubs on offer, and a lot of them with, we could look for 2.5-star, 3-star club potentially. Teams like Dinamo Bucharesti, they've got a value of £5 million. Look, potentially that's a club we could look to go to. Now, we won't obviously move right now because we want to be, staying with Martin for the Europa League and Europa Conference League and stuff. But it's my gut feeling that potentially, especially with all this money issue and still not having a coaching course, I'll ask again. They'll say no to me. They will. In fact, I'll wait. I'm going to wait until the end of summer. We'll try and make some money, but they'll say no to me right now. But I'm getting some itchy feet and think it might be time to look elsewhere. I think we've taken Martin as far as we possibly can, really. So perhaps a little bit of a bombshell to end on there, but it's what we have to think about. It's what we have to think about going forward in this save. Anyway, tomorrow we're going to have a special video coming out for you. Not an experiment, but a Football Manager 12 video. So look out for that one. That should be quite exciting. We'll return with this on Friday, as per the schedule. Potentially should be, but we'll return on Friday with Around the Block. So until then, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you then. Have a good one. Goodbye.